So, what was special about hip hop in 2003? Looking back, one thing really stood out. While it wasn't stacked from top to bottom with classics, you had key changes at guard taking place. In the aforementioned year, we got what was supposed to be Jay-Z's retirement effort, in addition to arguably the last true Outkast album. Other veteran acts like DMX and Ja Rule were making their last noteworthy stands with projects like Grand Champ and Blood in My Eye. Eminem and Dr. Dre were stepping back as artists in order to push new talent like 50 Cent, one of the most impactful new rappers in years. And in terms of regions and sounds, the South was continuing to establish its dominance with smash hits like Stand Up from Ludacris and the crunk classic Get Low from Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. The times they were a-changin', and in retrospect, one can make the argument that 2003 was the biggest transitional year in the history of hip-hop. For more proof, look no further than 2004, which gave us star-making albums from the new guard of rap legends, Kanye West and Lil Wayne. Now, while the year in subject won't be remembered for a ton of amazing albums, it did have a number of noteworthy gems. We start off in the first week of February, which gave us the mega successful debut from Shady, Aftermath, and Interscope artist 50 Cent. Get Rich or Die Trying was a monster smash, selling over 850,000 copies in its first week, establishing G-Unit as a movement and reviving gangster rap in the mainstream. Curtis Jackson was an undeniable force to be reckoned with, arguably ending Ja Rule's impressive career in addition to generating a bevy of number one hits in PIMP, Wanksta, 21 Questions, and In the Club. February also gave us more impressive debuts in the form of Little Brother's The Listening, as well as Freeway's Philadelphia Freeway. Singles from the latter album, like Flipside and What We Do, helped to cement the deep and talented roster of Rockefeller Records. Speaking of which, in March, Harlem's Diplomats released their debut classic, Diplomatic Immunity. Backed by the incredible production of the Heatmakers, Kanye West, Just Blaze, and others, the collection of Cameron, Joel Santana, Jim Jones, and Freaky Zeke set the world on fire with amazing East Coast hip-hop. In the same month, Fabulous dropped Street Dreams, his most commercially successful album to date. Moving all the way down to August, we have trap music from the self-proclaimed King of the South, T.I. With songs like Rubber Band Man, Tip Harris began to separate himself from the growing pack of popular Southern rappers with a more confident and distinguished sound. On the 16th of September, DMX released what some would call his last relevant album in Grand Champ, which boasted hits like Where the Hood At. On the 23rd of the same month, legendary hip-hop duo Outkast blessed the world with their fifth studio album, the classic Speaker Box and The Love Below. This double album was praised by critics and fans alike, sold over 10 million records, and spawned unforgettable hits like Hey Ya and The Way You Move. Featuring a whopping 39 tracks, this two-disc set was a concept album that effectively conveyed the unique character and sound of each member. Ludacris dropped his fourth album in Chicken and Beer on the 7th of October, and Amaru Entertainment released the platinum-selling Tupac Resurrection as a soundtrack for his Academy-nominated documentary on the 4th of November. Ja Rule also put out his controversial answer to his ongoing feud with 50 Cent and others with Blood in My Eye on the same November date. Speaking of 50, his G-Unit Collective released their successful debut, Beg for Mercy, close to a week later on November the 14th. Last but not least, Jay-Z closed out the very busy month with what was supposed to be his last album on the same date. The Black Album was heavily promoted as his final hurrah in marketing, tours, and songs. Jay's 8th studio album went on to stand as arguably his most critically acclaimed and best-selling efforts, garnering mostly positive reviews and becoming his top-selling record of the 2000s. Songs like Change Clothes, Encore, and Dirt Off Your Shoulders gave the impression that the New York MC was retiring at the top of his game. As you can probably tell, 2003 was a very interesting time to be alive for a hip-hop head. I hope you had a great time looking back at the past with me. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments section below, and stay tuned for more years in review to come.